This is crazy. NHL insider Chris Johnston has dropped a major Flames trade report revolving around Rasmus Andersson, and the update is unexpected to say the least. Most fans are up in arms at the report, and if true, want Craig Conroy to be fired. Yes, you heard that right. We're going to get into all that and more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest families. If we do a quick check-in here, actually, YouTube's telling me only a third of the people watching are subscribed, so if you could do me that big favor and hit that subscribe button, it really does mean a lot. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. But let's hop in and talk about this major update coming in via Chris Johnston. And already, I know a lot of people will be saying, okay, good, it's from Chris Johnston. You know, a lot of the time we get some from less reliable sources, guys like Pagnotta and Sarah Volley. So Johnston, that's, just really a step down from Elliot Friedman. But essentially on his show, he said that Calgary is not in a rush to make a decision on Rasmus Andersson and could decide at next year's trade deadline whether to trade or hold if no extension can be reached. And look, it makes sense, I guess, but a lot of people aren't happy with this. They'd rather Calgary, kind of was in a rush to make a decision on Andersson and try and trade him this offseason, preferably before the draft, a lot of people are saying. Because, look, business-wise, it just makes more sense to trade Andersson. His value is so high, and his price tag in terms of his salary cap, his cap hit is so low that trading him now makes way more sense than it could later on. I mean, obviously, if they wait till the deadline, that's fine as well. But still, I do think more people want it in the summers. Actually, if we take a look at some reactions to this from the Sea of Red, so there's pros and cons, and most of the people disagree. But here's one who does agree. Luna here says, patience could pay off, and it could, but it's taking the risk. Rasmus Andersson could absolutely pop off during the first half of the season, and his trade value skyrockets. And then the Flames can get even more back. But it is a risk. I mean, trade him now and things could go well. We saw how he played in the second half of last season, and the stats really weren't fantastic. Sure, he was playing hurt, but still, that kind of lowered his value in a way. So it could pay off, but it also could not pay off. Adam, who comments on absolutely everything on Flames Twitter, says, if Conroy keeps Andersson past the draft, he should be fired. There you go. I wasn't kidding. Keeping Rasmus Andersson would be one of the worst mistakes in NHL history. Okay, that's a little far. Rasmus Andersson needs to be traded as soon as possible. Hashtag trade Andersson. Adam, I can't tell. What do you want Conroy to do? I couldn't really tell there. Another person here says that always works out so well, ironically saying waiting to make a decision, and it is true. The NHL, it's a business. Sometimes you just have to do what you have to do for the team. I know a lot of people would like to extend Andersson still, and that could make sense as well, but it just really, at the end of the day, trading him is probably the most valuable thing for the franchise, especially for the future. Now, more people are saying, Gurpal Singh, who's actually a writer, he writes, yeah, we're cooked. It does sound that way. It sounds like maybe we're just not getting the offers we want, as the one at the bottom there says, in other words, offers aren't as high as they want, so put pressure on other GMs to up their trade packages. Another person there said, most indecisive manager. So people starting to take shots at Conroy. The only thing I'll say in defense of good old Craig is that who knows if this is true? Yeah, I mean, is Chris Johnston talking to Conroy? We don't know until Conroy is the one that comes out and says, yeah, we're not going to rush anything. We might trade him at the deadline. We'll see. Then we'll be like, okay, Craig, what are you doing here? But still, in Conroy, we trust for now. Let Craig cook. But it does look true. Maybe Conroy just isn't getting the offers he wants. Maybe that's what the biggest issue is here, and why an Andersson trade might take longer to come to fruition. If one even does end up happening, we could always see the extension as well. Now, last person here, Special K, said, I can't understand how Flames management can't get creative with trades. Sometimes, if you get another team interested in a player, you may need to come up with other ideas to make the deal happen. Don't just sit back and say, what are you willing to give us? Think outside the box. That's just standard business. I'm sure they teach you in business class, but Special K also had to add, I don't know why Flames fans just love using the office gifs all over Twitter, but the no from Michael Scott there. So it does make sense. Sometimes you say, hey, can I have this for Rasmus Andersson? No. And then you say, all right, that's okay then. Then that's just not how you got to do it. You got to get creative. Everyone's played a little NHL, the video game in their day, a little EA Sports. So it is true, and something like that could happen. Now, on the trade front as well, this was also reported, and this could involve a Rasmus Andersson trade with Buffalo. So, according to the 32 Thoughts podcast, the Sabres are now listening on trading JJ Peterka, someone who a lot of Flames fans would like to have. It's due to the reality of the situation, him being unhappy and wanting a change. The Sabres are realizing they have to look at this. And it just is true. I think most players seem unhappy in Buffalo and have for the better part of almost 2 decades now. So it could happen. A trade involving Andersson and Peterka. I'd assume Buffalo is on Andersson's no-trade list. That could be the one thing stopping this. And, of course, the price tag that Buffalo is asking for, since Peterka's more valuable than Andersson. But still, something could happen, and knowing that Peterka's on the market, even if it doesn't involve Andersson, that is something Craig Conroy definitely should pursue. The last thing, because it's a name that sometimes comes up in some rumors here, is that Royal 9 on Calgary Puck on who the Flames will have as their backup goalie if it's not Vladar next year, is they said, I'm told it's not likely to be Cooley. Now, Cooley popped off during the first half of last year's AHL season with the Wranglers and then really was not good at all down the stretch and not great in the playoffs either. He is an option to be a backup, but this more so sounds like when it comes to free agency, the Flames might actually go out and sign one of those goalies. I know names like Georgiev come up. There's others as well. Jake Allen, of all names, is being thrown around. So the Flames, it looks like if it's not going to be Vladar, it's also not going to be Cooley, which is kind of a change of plans if you think of where we were 6 months ago and thinking what we would have as Dustin Wolf's backup. But there you go. That's the big report for the day here. Some people happy, some people not happy. We'll, of course, just have to wait and see what does happen with Rasmus Andersson. But it'd be nice if we could get Craig on the mic instead of just all these people talking for him in a way. Now, let's get into the next part of this video, which is actually the Olympics, believe it or not. Why am I bringing the Olympics up? They're not till 2026. Well, it's because each country named the first 6 players to their roster. The preliminary rosters came out for each country, and there is one Flame who is on these preliminary rosters. Maybe there will be more, who knows. But the one man, as you can see there right in the center, is Martin Pospisil. He's the one guy who was named as a Flame, of course, for Team Slovakia there, as well as some other good young players as well. So congratulations to Pospisil. We'll be getting to watch him play in the Olympics. Even if he isn't a Flame by then, it's still cool to get that news. The other news involving the Olympics is this. So if you take a look, this is the preliminary 6 for Canada's roster. And you're thinking, Mark, why are you showing me this? There's no Calgary Flames there. It's who you expect. It's guys like McDavid, Makar, McKinnon, etc. But there should be one thing you're kind of noticing about these 6 guys here. And if you take a look, it's actually that 2 of the first 6 players selected are from Calgary, which is cool. So not exactly Calgary Flames related, but Calgary related, which is definitely cool. So if we go back there, of course, it's Cale Makar and Braden Point, both from Calgary. So even if the Flames aren't represented on Team Canada, at least Calgary as a city will be. And those are 2 guys who are pretty easy to cheer on, in my opinion. So very exciting that there will be some Calgarians at the Olympics, which will be taking place, I believe, in February of 2026 over in Milan and in other parts of Italy as well. Now let's get into the comment of the day to wrap up this video, as we love to do here on the channel. Comes from the most recent video, and it's interesting as well. It's talking more trades here, and this one could involve Andersson. So Kevin said, hearing Bruins are mulling which way to go with their number 7 pick. Gotta wonder if Andersson and our number 18 and maybe number 54 overall pick for that number 7 pick. It gets us one of these coveted centers. You would get a good center at number 7. You would really think. And he says, I'd be cool with that. I'm sure Boston isn't on Andersson's no-trade list. It's usually not a city that finds its way on no-trade lists. But it's interesting. Do I see this happening? Honestly, no. But that's going to be the reality of essentially all trade proposals we look at. But it is interesting, and it could be, again, something that Craig does propose. Maybe there could be more parts involved with this, so we'll see. It's really interesting to see which direction Boston goes just as a franchise really right now. But it could be an option. We can definitely say that. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe like you saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.